What's going on, boys? Thanks to our patrons and Fiverr customers, subscribe to our Patreon free for behind the scenes stuff, arm yourselves, life stuff. I notice I'm talking about queerness a lot lately, especially the trans side of things, and it continues to put me in a weird spot because I know there's something essential in it, and I know a war for identity is going on here, but I don't think it is a pro trans and anti trans thing happening. That's the way it's framed, but I don't think that's what's happening. And I realized today I don't even think transness is what's important here. In the sense, either these people are repressed or these people are embraced. That's part of it, but that's not the key. Right now, there are a few battles for the future of our species going on. This is one of them, and that's why it's important. It's not the battle, it is the lessons extracted from that battle. And for me, that creates extreme ambivalence. Because on one hand, I want to be involved in this and watch firsthand and learn firsthand how this plays out, but I also don't want to get roped into something, roped into a corner, or painted into a corner. Because whenever an issue is painted as A versus B, you lose no matter which side comes out on top. Because people use these dichotomies to sneak in dreadful shit on both sides. And I don't mean this as both sides of every issue suck. I mean both ships are filled with plague rats. So maybe you side with A or B and you win and you get your little victory, but then all these plague rats, malicious actors snuck on board, hit the mainland, and now your battle seems worthless, ended up being worthless, because the continent is infected with all sorts of nurglish shit. And that's where my ambivalence comes from. Because I think in this, we will lose the forest for the trees, and then we'll lose the forest and the trees. If you put a gun to my head, I'd be on the queer side of things, or more specifically on the trans side of things, because is gay even an issue anymore? I mean, I know it's a huge issue to retards, but on the learning truth side of things, that whole side of things feels settled. These minds are rich, and we are already starting to mine them more actively for truth shit. And that war on the most important front feels like it's over already because we've already worked out the difficult stuff. We know there is something valuable here, and there is a way to get at it in a way people agree with or unreasonable people can be made to agree with. There's no serious threat here. There is nothing but useful soul info to mine here. And actually, that's a useful little diversion we just stepped into because it explains more of this ambivalence about the trans side. We've established there is useful soul info there. Perhaps the most useful, not even perhaps, it is the most useful soul info we're going to get anytime soon. The soul searching mines are flooded with platinum. The real issue is we have not worked out a fruitful way to mine those mines. Yet, at least. And I think that's why I'm so antsy about all this. Because to my eyes, the important thing is not pro or anti-trans, it is yes benefit or no benefit. And popular conflict seems to be centered on winning or losing, not working out how to do this, how to mine the mines well. So I am sitting here on the outskirts of the queer camp, and I'm focused more on the plague rats than I am on the ship to ship combat. Because I want this side to win, but I don't want to win at the cost of the pure, unadulterated soul info. And in the trans camp, there are a lot of fucking plague rats. And without getting into specifics, it's to the point I think it's intentional. It feels like there is some concerted effort to condemn the minds, or to distract both sides from what's actually here. So if side A wins, the mines get condemned, the entrances get destroyed, and Joe Dipshit Public goes off and ignores them while other people, sneaky people, powerful people, sneak back in and can work without scrutiny and without needing to share. Or if side B wins, people are now more concerned with these rats running rampant than they are on the value that is being conveniently forgotten. That is the issue, or my issue. One of my favorite little things Jim said, or questions Jim asked, will the sideshow overtake the circus? Because I said earlier, I don't think this battle is what's important. The lessons we extract from it are a lot more important, and that's why the title of this video is Queerness as Crucible. I don't think, as a species, we are moving in a direction everybody will be on this spectrum, or should be. Rather, I think, as a species, we will need the lessons we learn from this conflict, from this big negotiation, to advance. Have you noticed the way humanity resists every effort at true self-knowledge? It's like we don't want to know who we are. I don't think everybody, or even most people, or even a few people, will be or should be trans, but in Queerness Veritas, I think what the hyperqueer wizards are cooking up is a series of identity diagrams and formulas. All the different ways a person can be within all the different contexts one might find themselves in. A while back, I think in the Manhood is Painful video, I think that's the title of that video, we mentioned the way manness and womanness don't have a ton to do with your genitals once you advance to a certain point in society, yet those roles, or not those roles, those needs remain. And even going back, that's still the case in less advanced societies. There is one set of problems and responsibilities, and the soul required to deal with them, and another set of problems and responsibilities, and the soul required to deal with those. We mentioned that poor Victorian girl. I don't think I said she was Victorian in that video, but that was the image I was thinking of. A daughter among useless daughters with a useless mother whose father has died. She is the only one who is capable enough to deal with, quotes, masculine responsibilities, so this poor girl needs to step into that role, needs to bear that weight. And specific sorts of stresses and sufferings are like mutagens. They change you. Why are most she's one of the guys, girls, embarrassing? Because she wasn't subjected, or they weren't subjected to these responsibility mutagens. They are just trying to mimic what they see. versus women who do fit in with men actually fit in with men. It's not, and with them, you don't even say she's one of the guys. You don't even process them that way because they have been subjected to the same mutagens you have. It's not a fun uniqueness thing or a persona. It is an unfortunate consequence of necessity. And that's why women who can undergo this mutation and retain their femininity are so interesting to me. And the highest tier lesbians seem to be the best at this. And I'm guessing that's because, well, they're born in necessity. And that's why there's not a lot of in between with lesbians. You either have lesbians who are they're basically just women who like women, but there is something irritating about them, and I think it's because they have, in going that route, they have forced another person to undergo this dreadful mutation all on their own, and that's why the ones who come out, well, on top as a joke, but it can figure it out well, are peak humanity. And again, this doesn't even necessarily apply to queer situations. That little Victorian girl wasn't a lesbian. Maybe she was, but we'll assume here she wasn't. Let's think about single fathers for a moment. Why are single fathers in one of two camps, again with no in between? They're either the worst, most traumatizing people on the planet, or they are the best humans on the planet. Why is that? Because it's sink or swim. And swimming involves mutating in a way you aren't conditioned to know how to do, and in fact have probably been prevented from. To do the right thing, the powerful thing, and ascend, both in terms of handling things that need to get done and as self-actualizing as a human being, becoming closer with the gods, you need to do something you have been brainwashed your entire life. Your society has been brainwashed its entire life not to do. Become things you are pressured not to become, not even to think about. To hate in yourself and in others wherever it dares sprout even a little bit. I think things would be better if we had thorough, meaty diagrams and formulas for what's going on here and what you can do about it. Now, again, with baseline homosexuality, I think we've keyed into the fact this is here, and people are learning some very good stuff in these investigations, but on the trans side of things, it's super steroids. That, or what might come out of that, and even if it doesn't come out of it, then it's there. Someone could extract it, even if they don't, even if we fuck this up. They, and that's another thing I feel bad about, I've been using the term space monkeys from Fight Club. What is it? The first soap was made from the ashes of heroes. Space monkey, shot into space for the greater good. They are a they with the potential to save the we. They are a mechanism by which we can work out this shit we need. It's horrible, but trans people are mimetic chemistry sets. They are a mechanism by which humanity can figure itself out. And the lessons humanity stands to gain, again, don't just affect trans people, don't just affect queer people, don't just affect people in extreme circumstances. Wouldn't it be nice for Joe and Jane Dipshit to understand each other's souls? I think it's like a square. You cut it into four sides. You have two basic sorts of biology and two basic sorts of soul. So you'll never totally overcome difference and mystery, but you can develop a much better idea instead of mutually wandering around in the dark, bumping into shit. It's actually a lot like typology in that way. This is a tool we can use to save ourselves a lot of headache, or heartache, or pain and suffering. It won't be exact for each singular individual within the billions, maybe trillions one day, but we can establish helpful patterns. But just like with typology, it seems like humanity doesn't want to. It violently resists understanding itself. And that's one of the reasons I'm moving back toward individualism. I was moving in a collectivist direction for a long time, but you can't trust a collective to do anything reasonable. It's like malevolent space demons hold sway over mobs, and benevolent space demons operate through individuals. If you want to figure anything out or get anything done, you can't rely on a mob. You need to do it yourself, do it alone, or take command of a mob singularly. You. And I bring up space demons again because I can't shake the feeling something interdimensional is going on here. Some interdimensional bullshit. As in, maybe we would be less effective conduits of these evil space demons' will if we understood ourselves better. So, they use the controls they have, i.e., controls over mobs, to keep us away from self-knowledge and to suppress individuals and hide useful self-knowledge research paths. They don't want us to know. God forbid humans know themselves and control their destinies. It's like telling a checker it doesn't need to be a checker. If it can even understand you, it's worse if it can't understand you. It's going to get mad and then freak out. People are so deep in their brainwashed forms in this matrix they don't want out. They want to be conduits for agents. Do you think it's any mistake the Matrix was made by the Wachowskis? They're trying to break through, and Joe Dipshit wants to remain a vessel for Agent Smith, an agent of the Matrix. Okay. I think I have clarified my position and charted a path forward. I am now a bit less ambivalent. Although we are supporting a side, that support is not necessarily for that entire side. It is for parts of it, but even then, that support is more so we can move toward getting the info we need. Allied space monkeys will help humanity at large build the identity foundation, ego foundation, identity understanding, diagrams, and formulas necessary to conquer the stars and stop throwing shit at each other like dumb ground monkeys. Oh, and that's another thing that I forgot to mention. I'm wondering to what degree AI is playing a role in all this. Not prompting it or forcing it to happen, but rather these queer issues, these identity issues, precipitate AI and transhumanism. What sort of humanity will we have to hold on to once we are deprived of it? We need to figure out who and what we are and why we are before we lose the opportunity to, and then lose our souls and identities in the process. And Jesus, that's freaky too. That's real Matrix shit. It's all connected. Time is a fat block of ballistic gel with a bunch of shit stuck around in the middle of it. Instances of space-time. But we are on the verge of of graduating from tweaking to absolutely tweaking, so we will cut it here. Actually, no, we won't. Last little freak out. I've been avoiding gay dudes in all this because their process is confusing to me. If low-level lesbians just choose to engage in woman gender brainwashing, except they like women, while expecting their partners to take on all of these weights and responsibilities and pains alone, then you would expect gay dudes' processes to be mirrored, but they aren't. Low-level gay dudes... it's really offensive, but it's very common, the fucking gay dude lisp. Why do they all do a poor impression of femininity? It's not femininity, but they do an impression of it. That's where that fucking lisp comes from. You don't need to do the lisp. That's why it's confusing to me, because low-level gay dudes stay in masculine brain while doing a shitty performance of women, while leaving their partners to continue to be properly masculine while also developing that actual feminine side, while their shitty partners lisp around and act embarrassing. It's like a double low, because you don't even have the decency to continue to be your baseline self. You've managed to make baseline do-nothing lesbians your superiors. How did you let that happen? Why is there this compulsion? There's probably a reason, and I want to figure it out. Actually, no. Lightning bolt. Answer struck me in the head. It's because at some... Oh, Jesus, fuck. That's an entirely different conversation. And this video is going so well, and we had to get canceled right at the end. And if we go any further down this line of thinking, we are going to get really canceled. We'll save that for another time when I can figure out a way to word it better. But I have an answer, I think. It's heterosexual women's fault. Probably heterosexual white women, and that would explain a lot. Cover in detail that, never. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't.